Hello everyone, my name is B.O.B. and welcome to another Minecraft tutorial, and today I'm actually just kind of remixing one of my previous tutorials. Now this came as a request, and I do have a couple other requests currently pending, but you know what, the R&D was already done on this one, so I figured why not just knock this video out real quick. So this is the upside down version of the two-way flying machine that I have previously posted on my channel. And if you didn't see that original tutorial, I can maybe link that in the description or perhaps put a card on screen. But I did mention in that video that it could be built with the observers on top. So if you wanted to use this in like a crop farm, you obviously wouldn't want it to be dragging across the ground. So you'd want the observers on top, leaving that one block gap for your plants to remain. And it's really, it's not that difficult to do. It requires some slight modifications to the docking stations, and when you're putting the flying machine together, you do got to be a bit more careful. We'll have to put some blocks in, take them out, and then put them back in. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the materials needed for this machine have only varied slightly from the original design. You will still need 9 sticky pistons, 4 observers, 4 slime blocks, and you can actually use honey blocks for these. For some reason, I thought honey blocks couldn't be powered, but it turns out they can, and honey blocks will work just fine in this machine. You will also need 4 redstone repeaters, 16 redstone dust, 1 lever, at least 2 pieces of obsidian just to keep your machine from flying away. You're going to need 14 building blocks of your choice, and then at least 2 transparent blocks. So you could use glass, you could use slabs here, but you need something that you can place redstone on that can't be powered itself. Now again, I have not mapped out the area for this particular build, but just so you can plan ahead, your docking stations will be 6 blocks long. The one with the power function will be 4 blocks wide, while the one without will only be 2. Of course, everything's going to be 3 blocks tall now, but we got redstone running across the top, so plan for 4. But yeah, let's get started. Now I'm actually going to start this build out the same way I did the original tutorial with the power function, and I was basically just using a sticky piston with a lever on it. And of course, you don't have to use a lever to power this piston. You can power it however you choose. But we want a observer on the face of that sticky piston, and we want the redstone bump facing the back of the machine, which is basically the same way this lever's coming. And that observer's face is going to be pointing in the direction that your machine's going to go, but it's going to be 1 block over. So we're actually going to come 1 block over and 1 block back from that observer and place 3 solid blocks in a row. 1, 2, 3. And then we want to step up from these solid blocks. So I'm going to put a temporary block there, and then 1, 2, 3. Come right back along with those first 3 that you place, so you have this sort of step formation. And then on the end of this upper block, sort of next to your observer there, we're going to go ahead and place our piece of obsidian. Next, we can go ahead and place in our repeaters, and we need 2 repeaters in a row right here. And we want those both set to 4 ticks, so place them down, click them 3 times, and they should be lined up, so when this piston extends, that observer powers these repeaters. So let's go ahead and just turn that off for now. And next we need to bring our signal up onto our little steps here. So let's go redstone dust, 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 dust to right there. And then right on top of that obsidian block, before we place any more dust, we're going to go ahead and place a sticky piston. Next, we're going to place a solid block on the side of that sticky piston, basically right over top that observer's head whenever that piston extends. And then a glass block right in front of that, then another sticky piston on the end of that glass block. Now we want to come back here to this sticky piston and bring that redstone signal right up on top of that, right on top of this solid block, across that glass block, and then onto that sticky piston there. And that's the first docking station already done. Let's go ahead and get our flying machine put in place. We're going to start off with 2 slime blocks right here on this obsidian block, and then we want 2 sticky pistons right on the side of those slime blocks, and then 2 more slime blocks right on the face of those sticky pistons. And then you're going to turn around and place 2 more sticky pistons on the side of those slime blocks. Next, we need to get our observers put in, and this is the part that can be a little tedious because we're going to have to take some blocks out in order to put them in. For starters, we're going to remove this block right here. We'll put that back in here in a minute. But let's come up here and place our observer right on the side of this sticky piston. So the little redstone bomb's facing down, and then we can go ahead and place that slime block back into place. And we're going to come over here to this front corner, and we're going to break this slime block out of here for now. But then we're going to come up and place a temporary block on top of this sticky piston right here, so we can get down on the ground. We're going to place another observer on the side of that temporary block, and we're actually going to want to get that out of there. And then we can place that slime block back into place. You do not want these blocks in place before you place your observers, particularly on this one on the end. That will break the machine, and you're going to have to rebuild the flying portion of it again. Next, we just need to, well, build our return docking station. To do that, we're going to start off with our obsidian block. Now, we want that thing to be kind of hovering in mid-air, right? Well, I guess it could have a block underneath it, but you want the obsidian to be aligned with the slime block on the end of your flying machine there. So make sure it's 1 block up off the ground. I'm actually going to get rid of that block underneath because it doesn't need to be there right now. Next, we want to place in an observer on the side, if I can find my observers, on the side of that obsidian. Then coming out the back of that observer, we need 1, 2, 3 blocks on the ground. Coming off the back of that obsidian, we need 1, 2, 3 blocks as well. And we'll go ahead and put in our repeaters. 1, 2, oops, not like that, like that. Again, both set to 4 ticks, so put them down, click them 3 times. We can bring our redstone dust up onto our step here, all the way to the right till you get to that obsidian, and that's where you're going to want to place another sticky piston. Of course, a solid block beside that sticky piston, your glass block on top of that solid, or on the face of that solid block, and then your last sticky piston on the end of that glass block. And then we just come back, bring our redstone dust up onto the sticky piston, across the solid block, across the glass, onto that sticky piston, and we are done. So let's go ahead and turn her on. And she's off. And just like the original version of the machine, you can add up to 6 blocks on each side of this machine. And when I say each side, I mean the front side and the back side. So it would basically be where your slime blocks are anyway. Here, let me turn it off and I can demonstrate. So you can add up to 6 blocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 6 blocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this machine will still function. So, you know, you'd be using this to sweep crop fields. That's going to give you the most amount of area possible for this particular design. One last thing I failed to mention in my original tutorial is do not leave the simulation distance of this machine while it's running. If you plan on leaving the area, make sure you turn it off before you go. And if you're not sure what I mean by simulation distance, I explain all that in my video about finding chunk borders. You can check that out on my channel. And so, my friends, that completes today's tutorial. I did have a couple other projects I wanted to let you know about. I got a flying machine elevator coming your way soon. I had a couple mob farms planned. Hopefully tutorials soon to come, as well as, of course, I got the Infinity Skyblock series and the Dream series that no one's watching. But I'm going to keep the content coming for you guys. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that like button. And if you're interested in seeing more from me, consider subscribing. I would like to thank each and every one of you for watching and wish you all a wonderful day.